On an unselected real-world cohort on 64,000 patients of German healthcare insurance, we did not find any signal of increased long-term mortality for paclitaxel-based devices after 7.6 years follow-up. Actually, the German healthcare system is pretty unique in terms of data validity and completeness of data, as in Germany, every patient or every inhabitant has to have healthcare insurance, and also these procedures and every single device is directly linked to reimbursement of the hospitals, and that is why we consider the encoding of every single device is actually very correct. And third, mortality of every insurance holder has to be reported by law directly to the healthcare insurance, and that is why we know exactly from every single insurance holder the date of death, and we pretty much have no loss of follow-up on that important endpoint. Based on this database, we designed a very sophisticated analysis that would include every subsequent intervention of any of these 64,000 patients, so including over 200,000 devices, and thereof 23,000 devices based on paclitaxel. And we followed these patients for a maximum of 11 years, and we did not see, neither for drug-coated balloons nor for drug-eluting stents, a signal of increased mortality. In 2020, I would consider these devices not to harm patients in the long term, as it was suggested by the Katsanos work. Of course, patient safety is very important, and also informed consent of the patient should be mandatory. But I believe that we do not harm those patients in terms of long-term mortality based on those large data sets from the BARMER Health Insurance. In summary, I think a lot of research has been done on this important topic, and I think that we have also contributed with our large-scale data to reassure physicians and also the treated patients that we do not see an increased long-term mortality signal for paclitaxel-based devices.
Well, what we did is we did look into our patient files of patients with a long-term follow-up of at least 3 years, treated either with drug-coated balloons or with paclitaxel-naive devices. That means plain balloon angioplasty, bare metal stenting, or atherectomy. And basically, we included about 1,600 patients, 2/3 having been treated with a DCB. And the major finding was independent if we looked into the unselected entire patient cohort, or if we excluded octogenarians, or in the final analysis, if we performed a propensity score matched patient analysis, we found a mortality benefit of around about 10% over time, favoring the treatment with drug-coated balloon angioplasty. The strength of this data is the following. Usually, single-center retrospective data are considered as being low-level evidence data. However, I believe this is very high-level scientific data because we enrolled really all comers. We didn't exclude any patient. Number two is in a single-center data setting, you can exclude confounders which are coming from including patient sets from various institutions. What does it mean? Our recommendation how patients should be treated following the procedure in terms of secondary preventive medication such as statin intake, such as antiplatelet therapy is uniform in such a single center setting. And we know that in particular the intake of statins is one of the major factors of mortality. So in our patient data set, we can exclude such confounding variables, because we can expect that all the patients are treated more or less in the same way with secondary preventive medication. So in summary, following the meta-analysis of Katsanos, we can conclude in the meantime, based on additional data analysis comprising the patient cohort included into the meta-analysis, as well as large real-world data sets coming from insurance company or single-center data analysis, that we couldn't confirm the findings of Katsanos that drug-coated devices are at risk to increase the long-term mortality.